Managing cash flow is important for any business, but it is especially important for a business that deals with physical products, because we need to be able to purchase inventory at all times, but still we cannot have too much money on hold in inventory. So profit first, it's a really powerful concept and it should be known by every single business owner. So hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to learn the system. Profit first, transform your business from a cash-eating monster to a money-making machine. So let's go through what this book is all about. So basically we can summarize this whole book to 4 sentences. So first of all, before you pay your expenses, you pay your profit first. So hence the name Profit First. Secondly, run your business based on what you can afford to do today, not what you hope to be able to afford someday. Thirdly, when profit comes first, it is the focus and it is never forgotten. And I'm sure, the world is full of businesses that have pretty much neglected taking out profits, and that's really risky, and it has happened to sometimes for us as well, that we have established a new brand or new business and so on, and we have been solely focused on just growing the brand and just putting all profits in growing the business and not taking a single dime out of it. And I can tell you, every time it has been a mistake. So one time we actually created a brand that we eventually decided to shut down. We didn't want to continue with the brand on Amazon anymore. But the problem was that we hadn't really paid ourselves anything out of it. We had just been paying the expenses that it has had, and then putting every single dime on growing the brand. But eventually we decided to quit the whole brand due to several different factors. So the outcome was that what did we actually gain from doing the whole brand, from the whole experience? Sure, we learned tons of different stuff, but in money wise, we didn't pay ourselves anything, so it was complete waste of time in terms of money. So that's what was kind of like a clear lesson for me, to always do profit first. So it doesn't matter whether it's a new business, if it's a new venture, joint venture, or even if it's an investment. So if you're investing into, let's say, cryptocurrencies or whatever, you should be paying yourself regularly. So then the fourth thing is Profit First is a cash management system. So it's all about managing the cash flow and finding better ways to deal with the money coming in and money going out. So the solution, it is really simple. It's just pretty much 2 words, and it already explains the concept of it. Profit first, right? But what it really means is that you pay yourself first. You pay the profits first. So money is the foundation. So without enough money, we cannot take our message, our products, our services to the world. And typically the equation goes that, okay, profit is what is left after deducting the expenses from the revenue. But instead we should be actually deducting profit first, and then we are left with the expenses. Then we are left with the amount that our business can afford to pay. So no matter what's the situation, it should be always paying us, the business owners. So if we don't have enough money to run the businesses, then we are simply slaves to the businesses we launch. So it's not it's not a job. It's actually much worse, because it's a job that is not really paying us adequately. So growth is important. So pretty much you either grow or you shrink, but it's only half of the equation. So it's an important half, but it's still only half. So most business owners try to grow their way out of their problems, and depending on salvation on the next big sale or the next product I'm gonna launch on Amazon or the next brand I'm gonna build or whatever, or a customer or investor, but the result is simply a bigger monster. So growth eats cash, and growth, we cannot really grow our way into profitability. It doesn't really usually work that way. So it's good to ask ourselves, so what's the perfect size for our business? Because I mean, it goes without saying, like, we have rapidly, or I mean frequently, experienced this like rapid growth, like exponential growth. And I remember like first years when it happened, and we constantly had like 10x growth. It really meant that our bank account was empty all the time. Like every single month we were just having like zero on the bank account, because we spent every dime on in buying more inventory, doing more marketing and those kind of things. And this was before we had really learned about how to use. First of all, I mean, we didn't even know about Profit First, but we also didn't know how to use the system in managing cash flow. But I mean, we shouldn't let growth like suck the profitability, or suck all of the cash, because it's much better if this growth happens naturally when we actually take our profits first. So we are in a much safer place if we just take out profit first, and then we also create this limitation that we are not going to be growing out of growth is not going to go out of hands, but we actually are managing the growth sustainably. So profit is not an event. Profit's not something that happens a year end, or at the end of your like 5-year plan or someday. I mean, that's just not the way it works. Profit isn't even something that waits until tomorrow. I mean, profit must happen now and always, because that's pretty much the reason a business exists. I mean, sure, there are many different reasons why businesses exist, and it's not necessarily the like number one thing, but I mean, without profitability, without making profits, the business cannot simply exist. That's the name of the game. So profit must be baked into the business. So what does it mean? So that means that every day, every transaction, every moment. So profit is not an event, and typically the cash flow that the profit first system has is that basically twice a month you allocate the deposit. I mean, you allocate the income to different bank accounts. So basically the bank accounts create this restriction on how we move the funds around. So profit, it becomes this habit. So there's a saying that revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is king, and that is absolutely spot on. So we can't grow out of our profit problem. So we actually need to fix profit first and then grow. So when we create these restrictions, these limitations, then it really forces us to follow these rules. So when we have all these different bank accounts for our like profits, for operational expenses, for salaries, and so on. So if the deposit comes to our income account, and then we allocated the funds twice a month to all these different accounts. So if you actually allocate a certain percentage to our profit first account, then if we are not allowed to move, I mean, we are not allowed to move these funds between different accounts. We actually, the system gives this rule that all the expenses are actually paid from the operational expenses account. So we are not allowed to pay anything from the income account directly. No, the income account is only used for taking deposits and so on. So if we actually follow these rules, these restrictions, then it will definitely give us much better way how to handle this, how to manage the cash flow. So yeah, I mean, we first figure out the things that make profit and dump the things that don't. So sustained profitability depends on efficiency. So, and if when there's less money available to run our business, then we will actually find ways to get the same or better results with less. And I mean, if that's the situation, then we just need to face the reality and just need to make it work with these given restrictions that we have. But when we actually take the profit out first, then we are simply forced to think smarter and innovate more. So we might end up in a situation that, okay, I mean, we are not able to do this advertising campaign or marketing campaign. So with this given budget, or we have much less budget, much smaller budget, then we are forced just to come up with different ways that how we can actually handle. And same thing, like when we have a specific bank account for manufacturing, for I mean ordering items and doing the shipments and so on, then if we don't have funds on the manufacturing account, then that means that we are simply not able to order anything. So then we are simply in a situation that, okay, now we need to come up with a creative solution for this issue, or otherwise we are just simply not able to order more stock. And if that's the case, then it just creates this natural pace for our business to grow. So we place additional significance on whatever we encounter first. So when profit comes first, it is the focus and it is never ever forgotten. So eliminating unnecessary expenses will bring more health to the business than we can really imagine. So that means that we go through the different expenses and realize that, oh, okay, I mean, we are paying this much for this subscription of this tool or whatever, but I mean, we are not really making the most out of this tool, so we could actually do it in a different way even without this tool. So then it's important that we actually like get rid of all those different expenses. The how much profit we should take out, it really depends on the business and the method that the book describes is that you basically just start with some percentage and then you regularly keep increasing it to your like the higher and higher level, but you are basically the one that decides that, okay, my profit that I'm going to be taking out every like twice a month is X percentage, and then that's just something that I'm going to be taking out like from out of every allocation, and then gradually we just increase that percentage. But let's say that, I mean, you could pretty much start from 1%. Okay, if we get a deposit of $1,000, then we transfer that $10 to the profit account, and if the business can run with just $1,000, then it can surely run off with $990. And if we get 20,000 deposit, then we just transfer like $200 into the profit account. And same thing, if the business can run with 20,000, then it can absolutely run with $19,800. So we just start with only 1%, and surely we can always afford to take like 1% out of the profitability, and then we are just going to be increasing it gradually once things proceed. So I mean, thing is that you will never miss that 1%. It's a really low bar, and this is the starting point. But the thing is that something magical will actually happen. So you will start proving the system to yourself that it actually makes sense, that I mean, I should keep doing this. I mean, of course, 1% is not going to, with these kind of numbers, it's not going to make you rich overnight, but I mean, you will actually get a wealth of confidence, really building confidence into the system that it actually works and that you can actually afford to pay yourself first. So profit first. So run your business based on what you can afford to do today, not what you hope to be able to afford someday. So any business can afford to pay the profit first. That's pretty much sums it up for the lesson of the book. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you like this video and join our group for more good stuff. See you there.